بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is your brother Abu Aisha Swaib and welcome back to our session. I'm really sorry about the last session due to the loss of electricity. You know, we couldn't continue. Qadr Allah ma sha fa'al. Whatever Allah does, it happens. And we embrace it, we accept it, all the decrees of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the good and the bad. Anyhow, let's continue with our, you know, our weekly live Tasfiyyah and Tarbiyyah part 2. Now, if you watched part 1, there we discussed the primary goal of our purpose of life. Does anyone remember that? And we spoke extensively on we took some benefits from Madarij al-Salikin and we mentioned why some people stay misguided for most of their lives and why very few people whom Allah chooses guidance for, then they get the tawfiq and they start acting right. They believe and they do righteous good actions and they are patient and they always support the truth. Now in today's session, you can see we are really close to the day of judgment, Wallahu alam, but from the signs, the minor and major signs that you can see, there are frequent earthquakes ongoing these days. You know, there was in Japan, in Venezuela, pretty much more than five to seven countries in the world felt earthquake of 5 to 7 magnitude. That's a big deal, you know. And not much while ago this happened. If you remember when what happened in Turkey, what happened in Morocco, and as you know, the frequency of earthquakes will increase near the day of judgment, as comes in Sahih Hadith. There will be even three major earthquakes in Medina, which will shake off the mushrikeen and munafiqeen from Medina, and only the believers will be left out. And then there will also be three major landslides, you know. So anyhow, let's continue with our, you know, main topic of discussion, which is really crucial. As you can see these days, Masjid Al-Aqsa is under trouble, and already the Jews are blowing up masajid in Gaza, in Palestine. Allah musta'an. And it's obviously very painful to watch. And then the things happening in Makkah and Medina, even Haramain is under, you know, uh, you can say under attack. Saudi Arabia is under attack. That would be more appropriate to say from the Houthis and the Shia, which are the real enemies of Islam. Obviously, the Jews and Christians are the enemies of Islam, but Shia are one of the main and very cunning and envious of the enemies, you know, because they attack you from behind and in times and from places you cannot imagine. So, if we talk about like TikTok, I can see there is like so many, there's so much fitna in TikTok, you know, like men and women mixing, and apparently in US they are having some summit and their men and women are pre-mixing, and then they are calling it like, you know, halal event, and because the sisters have hijab on and the brothers are there. But you know, the thing is that As you're well aware, premixing is not part of Islam. In fact, it's haram and it's strongly prohibited and discouraged in Islam to get involved in ikhtilaf. But Allah Musta'an, the kuffar, the mushrikeen, they have designed the technology, the systems in such a way that Muslims, they have no choice. If they use the internet and the computer systems developed by the kuffar, naturally the kuffar, they are okay with, you know, LGBTQT, whatever that thing, gays and lesbians. Not all of them, but most of them are okay with that. Gays and lesbians and their marriage and their rights uh, and changing your sex and so on and so forth. So that is such a mess, and it's a great sin, obviously. And then if that fitna was not enough, like if you go to TikTok, there are loads of fitna. You get shown videos that you don't have anything to do with, right? And all of a sudden, those videos may either delight you or they may worry you, they may disturb you, they may entice you, seduce you, whatever, depends on the nature and kind of video. But it is like because they have studied the nature of humans and they know and they are using the AI technology and they know very well that what are the things that keeps humans addicted to social media and keeps their attention span and glued them to the screen, and you know what gives them dopamine effects. They have already done their research and they have developed the system in such a way that you don't leave once you open the app, then you don't leave the app. You spend as much time, whether you go live or whatever you do. You have TikTok shop, as in whether you do business or whether you are just engaging with your audience, whatever. But the main problem is, look, first I want to make it clear. I don't want you to think I'm against TikTok per se, okay, or I'm targeting TikTok. You need to understand any piece of software, any technology that makes you addicted, by intention, that makes you addicted, that gives you tools and resources and has the ability to make you addicted, whether it's the juice, the fake juice you and colas and drinks and soft drinks and fizzy drinks you find in the market, that's all sugar and salt, okay? That's Red Bull and whatnot. All that is bullshit, and Red Bull is bullshit, and all of that is just to make you you drink their products, make them rich. They're destroying your health with using the cheapest chemicals in the market possible, giving you some so-called dopamine effects, serotonin dopamine effects, the salt sugar effects, so that you feel high. And by making you high and addicted, they are feeding you with toxic junk. Okay. Obviously, they are not forcing you. They just do marketing, and it's Muslims' issue, generally speaking. Look, we can agree on one thing that Muslims today, majority of the Muslims today, they are messed up. We can agree on this. I'm sure most of you would agree on this. And I'll tell you the logical reason from the hadith. The Messenger of Allah mentioned that if, like, there are various hadiths mentioning that the Muslims will have wahan, a disease, and so many nations will jump on them one by one, they will attack them. And so the Sahaba naturally asked, will we be few in numbers? He said, no, you will be like in huge numbers, but you will be like Musa, say, words in the hadith. You will be like the sea froth, you know, jhag, yeah, sea froth. You will not have character. You will not have substance. So the way our mindset have has become since Corona time, especially, and even now, the individualistic mindset that has come from the West. Have your own bank account, have your own home, your own car, your own luxuries, so-called luxuries. These luxuries don't mean anything as soon as you die. All of it is just a liability passed forward to others, right? You don't get to enjoy it but a little. And so the smartest man on the face of the earth, the wisest and smartest man on the face of the earth was Muhammad bin Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam. He was even offered by Allah to Angel Jibreel or Jibrail alayhi salam. He was offered a kingdom, the likes of Suleiman alayhi salam, or even better, everything gold. He was, you can say, he was offered a golden kingdom. He could have been a king. He could have lived like a king. But he said, no, I want to be a slave of Allah. Look at the humbleness of the Messenger of Allah, loving Akhirah, loving what Allah loves. No wonder, subhanallah, that Allah loves him the most. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the final messenger of Islam the most because he proved by his action. Not just sweet talk, which is easy to do, anyone can do on social media these days, but proving by your action. The Makkans, the Ahl Quraysh, people of Quraysh tried to buy him when he was in Makkah giving da'wah. At the peak of his da'wah, they tried to buy him, gave him offer of making him the governor of Makkah, marrying him to the most beautiful woman of Makkah, and giving him all the treasures of Makkah, on the condition that he stops giving the da'wah of La ilaha illallah. It's ma'ruf hadith in Bukhari and other books of hadith, similar. And subhanallah, he said, even if you put the sun in my right hand and moon on my left hand, you know, I will not give up on this da'wah. Alayhi salatu wasalam. So that is like, imagine you being offered the everything of this dunya by the people, your own people, the nation from which you belong. They give you a bribe, open bribe, to stop your dawah, to sell off your deen, and you say big fat no. And you say no, subhanAllah, clear. And then later on, Rasulullah sallam being given that offer directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the angel Jibreel. And again, he's saying no, he's declining. So imagine the people try to buy him and he says no, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests him and he says no. And look at our level. Look at our level. Look at our love for this dunya. Tell me something honestly. Will you honestly say no if you are given such an offer? Or you will say, yes, yes, give it to me, give me everything, all of it. And later on I will see about my deen. SubhanAllah. Waliya'udhu billah. And may Allah guide all of us, and may Allah make all of us believers, true believers, steadfast upon the deen of Allah. So this is left and this is right. Now this is my dream. This is why I began Abu Aisha Shuaib vlogs. Many people might be looking at it and saying, like, what is this vlogs about? What is this guy always talking about Deen and Islam and stuff like that? See, from temporary influence to eternal knowledge. Abandoning TikTok. Look, TikTok at the end of the day is an app. And you have technology, the scholars, senior scholars of Islam, the likes of Sheikh Fawzan, I heard him say in one of the Jummah khutbah directly. I was attending it in Riyadh many years ago. Back then, social media was becoming common. Back then, okay? Facebook and all that. So at that time, there was no TikTok. There was just Facebook and YouTube. And later down the line came Instagram and other. So I remember I used to use WhatsApp back then, and most of the people didn't know what is WhatsApp because I was a tech guy. Anyhow, at that time, Sheikh Ozan he said, "Look, social media is a tool. You know, you can use it for good, you can use it for evil. Whether it's internet or social media, all of these are tools. It all depends on your niyyah and how you use these tools. But he said, look at where these tools are coming from. They're coming from the kuffar. They are not made by Muslims. So naturally, they will have big loopholes. And the West and the non-Muslim countries are already destroyed socially, right? Now you can see they are being destroyed economically, but most of them are destroyed socially. You look at Japan, you look at America, you don't need to go far. Look at the suicide statistics in Japan and look at the homeless people out in US and all the school shootings and everything. Nobody is safe in the US. Not even the president and no one is safe. So I don't know how Muslims are becoming governors of New York and Michigan. It's a corrupt system. It's a corrupt system. What good can you bring to a system that is bottled? You know what I'm saying? You become part of democracy and you think that you will bring greater good, but and you might think it's lesser of the evil, but subhanallah. First of all, if you're truly honest, you're truly sincere with the deen of Allah, you will not join politics. And secondly, let's just say even if you are a very noble person and you're trying to fool them and joining their politics, still, and you think once you get the power you will do something for the Muslims. Still, the moment you show your true colors, they will fire you off. They'll kill you. Look at what happened with Imran Khan. He's not a Salafi, he's not that religious. But yes, comparatively, if you compare him to other people in the government, the previous government, definitely he has some standards. He was somewhat religious. You can say that, you know, not really and practically religious, but more of philosophical, Sufi and Kuburi type, may Allah guide him. And I really make dua that Allah guides him in the prison right now, still alive. Allah guides him to Salafi, Allah guides him to Tawheed, to Haqq, Deen al Haqq, and Deen Hanifa, the Deen of Ibrahim, Deen of Muhammad, salam, where all of the Anbiya came with the same message. وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. All the prophets sent to all the nations, they came for the reason of inviting people to the ibadah of only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and rebutting all false deities. Okay, so it's really important to understand the concept of Islam. I see a lot of guys on social media, I mean on TikTok and stuff, YouTube, just accepting Islam and saying I'm a Muslim now. The sisters are not doing hijab, and the brothers are not taking care of their aura and a lot of things, remixing. Like they are doing haram sarahatan openly and without any guilt, without any, as though somewhat justifying, and but you have few number of good Muslim reverts, practicing ones, sincere ones, who first ask and then act. And that's the right way to do it. But the moment whether it's Deen or it's AI. The moment you act first and then ask, you are that's a recipe of disaster. You know. So now there's no doubt that the guys who made all these apps, TikTok and whatnot, they just made it to democratize the opinions of people and to become rich, primarily to become rich. That's why they did this. They developed such addictive apps. They didn't care about ethics and social impact. They and people's privacy and whatnot, data privacy and people's privacy. All they cared about is making money. That's the problem with all these apps. None of these apps and systems were developed to bring people close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make them better slaves. No. On the contrary, they are developed to make you worse of a human, a communist, a socialist, a greedy person. That's what they want you to become. Okay? In the name of empowering you, they exploit you. That's the harsh reality of social media in general. Again, I'm not targeting just TikTok. I'm talking about all the social media, all of it, from Twitter to TikTok. I don't even use other social media. I just use TikTok and YouTube. That's it. And X and LinkedIn. Just these four. Because of business and for Dava, mainly for Dava and also for business reasons. To reach larger audience. That's the whole purpose. But I hate using these platforms to the depth of my heart, and I don't like giving these platforms my precious time. Right? I began making content, good content, back in 2017 to 2020, and actively done from 2020 to 2021. Then in between took some break, just was doing food vloggings and fitness vlogging. And first, I tried to master tech. I wanted to open a tech channel, but I wanted to master and build my credibility and my portfolio before I open a tech channel. Okay, so I delayed it intentionally. I wanted to learn so many things: digital marketing, AI, and Alhamdulillah, I did manage to learn a lot of things because I did not waste my precious time on social media. I did manage to learn a lot of things, but obviously, I did not master anything because it's my nature. I'm, personality wise, uh, Leonardo da Vinci type personality, Da Vinci type personality. This is a personality type where people they like to do a lot of stuff but not master anything. A typical jack of all trade, master of none. And so they are these kinds of people, these kinds of personalities, and unfortunately, I happen to be of those. Now, some people like, you know, expert personalities. Most people like it because they are simple to understand and they are also, you know, mostly they are rich because they just do one thing and they do it really well. But depends. There are some multi-talented people who do a lot of things and they manage to make money from a lot of stuff. But you'll very rare of those people you'll find because when you care about ethics and morality, so then there are so many things even though you know, but you don't do them, because you know that playing it off will end you up in fitna and you want to ignore fitna upfront. So obviously everything that glitters is not gold. As I was telling you that, majority what if you will notice in the hadith, especially of the final hour and the Babul Fitan, you will read these hadith. And the Messenger of Allah, I'm not quoting the full hadith, that's like you can go to the durus of Mashayikh, Sheikh Fawzan and Ibn Baz, Uthaymeen, Albani, and you can read a hadith. I actually write articles and I share on in our community and on LinkedIn. So you can go and read over there, and I give complete references. But here I'm just gonna mention the Shahid and the main stuff, and also I'm not going to go into a lot of details. But with hadith, whatever hadith I tell you, it's authentic. Rest assured. So you know what did Rasulullah mention to Aisha radiallahu anha when he said that they will be good people between us, and still the fitna or the punishment of Allah will take us over, take over us. He said yes, if majority are evil, if the righteous are few, majority are evil, then this will happen. Then so in that particular hadith he was mentioning about the punishment of Allah, coming on the people. And from like in the upcoming time and within this Ummah of Muhammad SAW. And she said, then how will it be fair that the righteous will also be killed, will be caught in the punishment, even though they are innocent? That's a genuine question, a rightful question. May Allah have, may Allah be pleased with her and our mother Aisha radiallahu anha. What a um, beautiful question! Like as though it was not just Rasulullah والسلام, but even the Sahabiyat, the Sahaba, they used to worry about the people of Iman. You know what I'm saying? And he said, yes, they will be raised on the day of judgment according to their deeds. No injustice will be done to them. But this is the harsh reality. I want you to understand that doing Amr bil Maruf and Nahi anil Munkar, enjoining the good and forbidding the evil, is really important. It's not an optional thing. Now, I'm not asking you to throw away your mobile and TikTok in the fire. That's not the context of this picture. The context is that we do this Tasfiyyah and Tarbiyyah sessions every weekend, and by fadl of Allah, by tawfiq of Allah, hopefully one day you realize the evils outweigh the harms, and then you yourself you abandon using you don't use TikTok. As a matter of fact, majority of my Salafi friends, majority of my friends who practice religion properly, they most of the brothers, they subhanallah, you know, even few sisters and most of the brothers, they use X. That's it. They don't use any other social media. They say we don't have time and we don't trust any social media. Even X they have reduced. Even Twitter they have reduced enormously. You know. So this on the right is something that maybe you have not experienced so far in your life. You could be a housewife, you could be a youth, a youngster, you could be a young adult, you could be a mid-age watching this, and I can assure you, I cannot guarantee and promise, but I can assure you, the majority of the Muslims, they have not experienced it. There is a very few minority, especially when I'm talking about Pakistan, especially when I'm talking about India and Pakistan. Because as a Salafi Talibul Ilm, I have been to the roofs of Sheikh Fawzan in Saudi. I have and Sheikh Lohidan. I have been and other mashayikh, loads of mashayikh. of Haramain, alhamdulillah. And I have been to Durus of Mashaykh in UAE and even the Kuwaiti Mashaykh are coming to UAE. A lot of Mashaykh from Saudi, Kuwait, other cities coming, other countries coming to UAE. But alhamdulillah, Dubai is like a hub. Now 3 years I was in Dubai almost, and I got to meet a lot of brothers from Sheikh Hamza, Abdul Razak from US, and still I've got loads of brothers to meet. But I happen to meet some really good and few brothers from the US in UK, mostly from the US. So you know, walillah alhamd, fadl of Allah and sharaf. But really, until for 7 to 20 years, and there is athar available, uh, uh, statements of Sahaba, athar, not just like, you will find asar of Tabain, Tabain, mentioning that until you undergo Tasfiyyah and Tarbiyyah of Mashaykh, you know, for years studying under scholars, under people of knowledge, books of the Salaf, Ibn Taymiyyah and Sheikh Albani and other Asbab, reading the classical books, studying with Mashaykh, reading, understanding, translating, and all the good stuff, deep reflections, and trying to understand the text for the Quran and Sunnah and Aqwal al-Sahaba and the correct understanding in every affair and all affairs. Primarily Iman and Aqidah and Manhaj, the usul of Deen, Because these days, in our generation, our time, people don't have patience. It's not that you don't have time. You have the same 24 hours like Muhammad and Sahaba. The problem is with your niyyah. The problem is with your actions. Niyyah and your action. How sincere and how close you are emulating in emulation of the final messenger of Allah, copying the final messenger of Allah, following him with sincerity. Also, I would add here the intensity and the you know, regularity, the consistency. How many people who can pray 5 times a day in the masjid with a Takbiratul Ihram for the whole 40 days, 42 days, or half a year? I'm saying 40 days because 3 months, 6 months is a far of thing. Just 30 to 40 days. I have already surveyed and I did not find anyone who was able to do it, with the exception of few people, very few people. So I'm saying from Amun Nas, if an alim or a talib al ilm is consistent, that's not something big. But people from Amun Nas, if they are really regular, then that's a sign of true faith. Not to say people of knowledge also have true faith, but I'm saying it just comes easier to them, naturally to them, because they have the environment, and the environment makes all the difference. Trust me. Focus on this right side. Just being in the masjid, sitting with the people of knowledge, the because it's 100% merit system. The scholars they teach and they ask questions, and whoever answers well, that shows that he has good understanding. Although good understanding and being good in replying does not necessarily mean that they have good application in real life. You know, there is a lot of hypocrisy that I saw in some people. So Allah Mustaan. So these are the things of fitna. Beware. And let's move ahead. So this is part 2 of the real life story that I mentioned to you earlier about a man, you know, Taliban. I told you his name Abdullah, if I remember correctly. And now what happened in his case he helped a woman embrace Islam because she was Christian and she was already done with her life, talking about suicide and stuff, hopelessness. He said, you know what? It's better you embrace Islam and never ever lose hope in the mercy of Allah. So you win in both the worlds rather than just doing suicide as a Christian. It's a lose lose. But if you become a believer, a Muslim, then it's a win win. Depends on your niyyah. So I invited her, I mean, that brother invited her to Islam. And so she said, I'll think about it. And he said, sure, take your time, think about it. But this is a serious matter. It's a life transforming decision. So, and obviously, it will have effects. She was afraid that if she accepts Islam, she will be abandoned and she will have face issues. Already, she had faced a lot of issues from her ex Christian husband, who was really abusive, alcoholic, and abusive, beating and all. So she wanted peace, and she heard good about Muslims that Muslim men don't beat their wives. Muslim men are really good, and she had countless examples of many of the Christian sisters within Pakistan who had married Muslims and they were living really decent lives. So she really liked the idea, and she, you know, within few days she agreed to accept embrace Islam. And after a week or two, then she was proposed by the same guy for nikah, and again she agreed. So the guy thought now everything will be great, but little did he know that. And he warned her, he told her that please, time is precious, don't waste your time and others' time. If you're doing this only to marry the guy because you like the guy, as in Abdullah, then you know it's not really like it defeats the purpose. So, marry only if you really are willing to learn what is the rights of man and woman in Islam, and then you are eager to fulfill those rights. Otherwise, the marriage will be a mess. Nothing will work out. Nothing will make sense. Now, the mistake that some sisters make, the brothers as well as sisters, but mostly I've observed in the sisters that they are so socially glued to their families, Christian families, and so the moment, even after embracing Islam, they find it really challenging to completely, you know, do away with their family, as in grow with their new Muslim family and limit their engagements with Christians. The reason being, because you need time, 2 to 3 years by yourself with your new Muslim family to learn, adapt, adjust. You know, it's a big toll. It's a big calling. And if you continue to go to your Christian friends and relatives, then obviously you'll find a hard time adjusting to your new environment. And naturally, even your husband is not going to like the idea and is not going to bear and accept this behavior for a long time. Especially if you happen to be a good woman who come and go without seeking his permission. That's a major issue. And maybe some women find it funny, maybe some women like to tease their husbands in this way, to take revenge or tease them, whatever the reasons may be. But it is something inappropriate and unacceptable because it is wajib upon a Muslim to obey her husband. Wajib, it's an obligation. Just like 5 times Salah, it's a wajib on, it's an obligation on Muslim woman, on a Muslimah to obey her husband in good, in ma'ruf, obviously. She does not obey him in sins and transgression. تعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا بالإثم والعدوان. واضح. The ayah is واضح. You enjoin upon good, piety, and righteousness. You don't join upon sin and transgression. That's not just husband, anyone, even your parents. Anyone. In case of your parents and your husband, you will politely say, no, I'm not going to do it. That's not part of my religion. I'll not do the haram stuff. But other than that, I'm available to serve you in whatever way that pleases you, so far as it doesn't go against Islam. That should be your ideal response. Stay calm and with clarity. You mentioned uh, no. And if you do that confidently, inshallah, khair. If your husband really loves you, he would not want to lose you, and so he will not force you, he will not oppress you. But, wallahi, ajib, I have seen sisters abusing their husbands, Muslimas abusing their husbands. When they are in weak situations, especially financially, instead of being kind to them, because they were kind to you when you were not, when you were suffering. They holded your hand. When you were suffering, you were all alone. You were in miserable condition, literally like rotten condition, you know, as a human, broken, rotten. And he holded your hand, took care of, took good, great care of you. And in response, what do? You deceive him, you lie to him, you insult him, his family, you trash him. Astaghfirullah. So it is something, an experience which goes way over toxic, way over, injustice. So now such men get really badly stuck because if they divorce the woman, then she's gonna suffer and the man is going to feel bad. Husband is going to feel bad. But if he continues with to overlook her mistakes, then that it is also clear it will ruin him and also ultimately ruin her. So it becomes like a self-destructive mission. Either way, you're gonna suffer. So obviously, in such situation, it's better for a man, especially if he's a Salafi and he's good in several regards, it's better for him to divorce such a woman and find a righteous woman. A woman who fears Allah, a woman who keeps her promise, who's always honest, always truthful. قولوا يا أيها الذين آمنوا قولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم يغفر لكم ذنوبكم. O you who believe, say a word that is just, that is true, that is just. You know, so then Allah will rectify your actions, your affairs, your actions, and Allah will forgive your sins. So, you know, there is something really complicated, really tough when a woman's involved, kids are involved. No organization within Pakistan is willing to support, is willing to help because everyone is doubtful. Everyone thinks that this woman is foul and just playing around, you know. How do you know? No one knows what's in the hearts of the people, but yes, from the actions it becomes evident. So if you give her multiple chances, from her tongue she says, yes, yes, I would like to go to the masjid. When you actually take her to the masjid, she runs away. And she does that 3 times. She runs away from the masjid or the madrasa 3 times. Alas, now that's enough of evidence. And personally, if she keeps leaving your home and you have given her chances 7 to 8 times, imagine that. Still hoping that Allah will rectify her, being patient, but still she does not pay heed, then it's better to let her go. Just like you married her for the sake of Allah, hoping good for her with a giving hand, now you are separating ways again for the sake of Allah to protect your deen and hoping to find someone better, someone worth your company, someone worth your time. Okay. No point giving time to those people who don't value knowledge and experience and the goodly actions that you have. Allah musta'an. So you need to protect your the solutions to, and this is a, forget about this story. You know, if we talk about majority of the households Muslims today, even those who are both Salafi, even those I have had discussions with those couples who are both Salafi, both are religious, yet still their household broke. Look, you could be a sheikh or talibul ilm or very religious person, but if you lie or cheat or deceive or fall into sin even by mistake, that can ruin, that can take the barakah out of your nikah. So all righteous wife is a blessing from Allah. And obviously Allah can take away your righteous, your halal risk, your righteous wife, your kids, if you don't value the blessings of Allah. So this is general advice for the brothers. Fear Allah, fear Allah. Don't get involved with haram. Don't take the matter of zina lightly. Okay? And even for the sisters, please fear Allah. Don't play with the emotions of men. Your husbands, the men, innocent men who are righteous and who want to stay righteous. Don't deviate them. Don't mentally torture them. Don't lie to them. Don't deceive them. And though they are being kind, they are being generous, don't, जैसे कहते हैं उनकी अच्छाई का फायदा मत उठाओ, you know, अल्लाह से डरो और उनकी अच्छाई का फायदा मत उठाओ. So obviously you give woman a chance, you live with her 3 to 4 months and it becomes clear to you what she really is, what she used to claim, what people used to say and what she used to claim before nikah and what she really is. You see her true color. And obviously, it goes both ways. Sometimes the couple in the beginning of nikah, they are dreaming good about each another. But when they actually live together, they realize that they don't have the temperament, they don't have the understanding, the sacrifice level, the compatibility, as they say. Just simply not compatible in terms of their mizaj, their way of dealing with each other. In that situation, if the wife keeps doing something ridiculous and keeps angering the husband, keep, keeps messing. She doesn't remember and any of the do's and don'ts. She doesn't remember, and she keeps making the same mistake again and again. She does not learn from her mistake. That over time, obviously, naturally aggravates the husband who's already financially burdened, finding it hard to find halal job and already struggling severely in terms of finding halal work, paying the bills, and then you do all this. He's gone out for work, and when he comes back, and you are gone with all your things, you're gone, you're vanished, you know. And you do this behavior, you repeat this behavior not one time but 7 to 8 times. Okay, maybe your previous guy was a Christian and he was abusive. So maybe he deserved it, maybe it was okay to do with him, you know? But what about a person who is noble, who's kind, or at least a person who just wants to give you a chance to help you transform, to hold your hand and to help you transform, to become a better slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wakes you up for salawat, he teaches you the Quran, he takes you to the madrasa, he takes you to the mall, he takes you to the park. He is doing everything in his ability, in his power to make you happy. And what do you give in return? Subhanallah. Only pain, only toxicity, only bad comparisons, only bad words, bad talk, evil talk, making fun of him. And not only you run away from the house again and again, but whatever by making whatever excuses, but you come back and he forgives you every time, and then you come back and you make fun of him, and you say things like "bathero" and "अच्छी बात है," and stuff like that. So this is disgusting behavior. Like, the purpose of marrying is that you are like garments to one another. You bring sukoon to each another. So yes, first 3 months is really easy. After nikah, it's easy to give sukoon to each another. That's a natural thing. Even Hazrat Ali said that the first 4 months after nikah, the most 3 or 4 months are the most beautiful months of your life because that's how it is. The couple, they don't know each another, and so they are literally dreaming and have husn zan, and are really kind and holding back the evil self from each another. But what happens after 4 months? After pregnancy, after 4 months, you know, then slowly they start showing each another their true colors, the evil sides, and the worst part, this the husband and wife, they start taking each another for granted, and they lose and they leave the ideal role model, the messenger of Allah Islam. The messenger of Allah Islam was kind with his wives. He was khair, he was kind with his wives throughout his life. Throughout his life, he had consistency in his ikhlaq. It's not like, he was good only in the first few years. So we have a lot to learn in terms of ikhlaq in general with everyone, but especially with our wives and kids. Lastly, the sacrifice is the most important aspect of living a successful nikah. So on the right side, you can see the solutions you need to protect. What are the solutions of having a peaceful married life, a successful life? Number one, protect your heart from all fitan and shar. All kinds of fitan and shar. Don't give any exception to yourself. Protect your heart. By your heart, it means cover up your eyes, your ears, everything that will, you know, corrupt your heart. And as that hadith uh, is a fasada, there is a organ in your body. If it's sound, then everything is sound, and that is the heart. So the next point is, you can see on the right side, busy yourself with what matters the most, knowledge and action. You know, busy yourself with the goodly matters, the beneficial matters, knowledge and action. We have very limited life, limited time left. You know, Allahu Alam, 1 year, 10 years, 5 years. Allahu Alam, how much time is left? So forget about whatever you lost, but whatever is left, make plan ahead and make good use of it. That's the most. That's all you can do. And measure the last part, which most of the Muslims get wrong. They actually don't do it at all. Majority of them, they don't do it at all. That's a major reason that their iman is constantly weak, and some of them even leave Islam due to their evil actions. Depends. So measure and analyze your performance of good deeds daily. Salat focus. I will mention to you later on what is salat focus, but it is something that I've been, you know, working on. It's a long-term project. It's a life-changing project for Muslims. But we'll get to that some other time later. Right now, I just need you to focus on these three important points as the solution. And look, the Durus is the litmus test. If you have studied chemistry, you would know what is a litmus test. So you invite people to Durus, to Duradars of ulama, of people of knowledge. And if people don't show up, then naturally it means it's not their priority. Seeking knowledge is not their priority. If seeking knowledge is not their priority, how they are going to boost their iman? How they are going to fortify, solidify their iman? And when their iman is not solid, how are they planning to do good, righteous actions for the rest of their lives? You see how this all works and plays out. All right. So, and let me summarize the final point I mentioned in my WhatsApp audio, that I'll tell you that how you can seek knowledge. There is a way to seek knowledge. Say you need to seek knowledge directly from the Kibar ulama, and you need to start from the easiest, smallest books like Usul Salata, Fawaid Arba, Kitab Tawheed. Start from the easiest, smallest books under the scholar's supervision, and which means they will be testing your knowledge. Okay, you are not scholar by yourself. They will be testing you. They will assess you, and they will tell you whether you understood it right, whether you memorized it properly, whether you pronounced it right, everything. And once you have done that and you are growing by levels, then it's all good. It doesn't matter you are in level 1, 2, or 3, whether you are ibtidai, talibul ilm, or mutawassit, or aliya, advanced. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you are working on yourself. You are doing something. You are progressing. Even if it's one letter, one sentence, one usul, one qaida a day, but you're doing it daily, so now that's progress. Okay? Learning and acting upon it. Learning, acting upon it. And if you have any doubts or you find any difficulty, you can discuss with the ulama, you know, have that closed feedback loop. So why years pass by, 10, 20 years, and you are same. In fact, you have become worse. You are not religious because you don't have that closed loop. You are not just like Sahaba going to Muhammad Sallallahu to learn the deen. You are not going to the ulama. You are just by yourself. So there is no check and balance. You can attend the dars whenever you like. You can leave whenever you like. But when you are studying with ulama, you are questioned why you didn't show up at the dars. What happened? You know. So think about school and university. Forget about school and university. When you go to masajid and you learn directly from the ulama, that's next level of academics and intellectual ingenuity. Nothing comes close because it's rewarding. School and college is not rewarding. Majority of the people have done degrees, they are not able to find jobs. But deen is such that you get ajr for seeking knowledge and you later on get ajr for acting upon it. You get ajr for teaching to others. It's nurun ala nur. So you, it's already an hour long video. Let's stop here. Hope you found some benefits in this. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.